Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to play a fingerstyle arrangement of the song Xanny by Billie Eilish. So let's get into it. So first of all, you need to put a capo on the second fret of your guitar. So the first part of the verse sounds like this. So you start with a series of pull-offs on the B string. You have this. So you start from the third fret of the B string and then pull off to the first fret and then pull off to the open string. So you get this. And then you hammer on the first fret of the B string. So you get this. And after that you have this. So you have the third fret of the low E string, the third fret of the B string, and you have the open G string. So you play them together like this. And then you have this. So you have the open B string once, and then you play the open B string with the note on the third fret of the low E string. So you get this. And to end you have this, which is the open G string, and then you play the note on the third fret of the low E string again. So the whole thing becomes this. So from the start it sounds like this. And after that you have this. So to start you play the note on the third fret of the B string. So you have this. And then you play these two together, the note on the third fret of the low E string and the note on the first fret of the B string. And after that you have this. You pull off after playing the note on the first fret of the B string. So you pull off to the open B string. And then you play the note on the second fret of the G string. And then you play the open B string again. So far you have this. And to end you have this. And to end you have this, which is basically the open D string and the note on the second fret of the G string played together first. And then you play just this note on the second fret of the G string once. So the whole thing becomes this. So from the start till here we have this. And the next part sounds like this. So right after you played this, you have this. So you play the open D string once, then you play the note on the second fret of the G string once, and then you play the open D string again. Like that. So we have. And after that we have this. So we have to play the note on the third fret of the B string, then we have to play the first fret of the B string with the open D string. So you have this. And then we have this. So we basically pull off from the first fret of the B string to have the open B string. And then we play the second fret of the G string and then the open B string. So after that we play the open A string and the G string. So we hammer on the second fret of the G string like this. And then we play the note on the second fret of the G string again. So we have this. So the whole thing becomes this. And after that we have this. So right after we played this, we keep holding that and then we have this. Which basically you play the first fret of the B string, then you pull off to the open B string, then you play the second fret of the G string and then you pull off to the open G string. So you have this. like that. And to end you have this. So you play the 3rd fret of the A string and the 1st fret of the D string together like this. And then you play the open G string. And after that you have this, which is basically the 2nd fret of the G string, then the open B string, and then the 2nd fret of the G string again. So the whole thing becomes this. So the verse from the start up until this point sounds like this. And after that this whole part repeats itself, but the ending is a little different. The ending sounds like this. So you start by playing the 3rd fret of the A string and the 1st fret of the D string together, and then you play the open G string, and then you play the 2nd fret of the G string, and then you hammer on the 4th fret of the D string, and then you play the note on the 2nd fret of the G string again. So you have this on the G string, and with the chord, so the whole verse sounds like this. And after that we have the chorus. So the chorus sounds like this. So we start by playing the open D string, and then after that we play the note on the 2nd fret of the D string with the low E string, which is open. So we have this. And after that you have this, which is the open G string, the G string 2nd fret, and then the open B string. So that. And after that you have this. So you have a B7 chord here. You have the 2nd fret of the A string, the 1st fret of the D string, and then the 2nd fret of the G string. So you play that with a roll, and then you play this, which is the A string, then the D string, and then again the A string. So like that. And after that you have this. So you play the 3rd fret of the low E string, and then you play the open D string together like that, and then you play the open G string. So you have this. And after that you play the 2nd fret of the G string and then the open B string. So the whole thing sounds like this. And after that you have this. So there you have this chord where you're playing the 4th fret of the A string and the 2nd fret of the D and G strings together. So you have this. So you play that with a roll. And after that you have this. So there you have to play the A string, then the D string, and then the A string again. So the whole thing sounds like this. So from the start of the chorus we have this. And after that we have this. So here you have this chord where you're playing the 2nd fret of the D string, the 2nd fret of the G string, and the 1st fret of the B string and 3rd fret of the high E string. So you have this. And you play that with the open A string. So you're playing the A string, the G string, the B string and the E string with your right hand. So you have this. And on top of the chord you have this melody. So you play the 3rd fret of the high E string, then the 2nd fret, and then the open E string. So you have this. And then you have the 3rd fret of the B string. So you play this with the chord. It sounds like this. And after that you have this. So right after you play the note on the 3rd fret of the B string, you play the open B string and then you play the note on the 2nd fret of the G string. Like that. So right after you played this, you have this. So you lift this up and play the open G string and then you hammer on onto the 2nd fret of the G string like this. And then you have this, which is the open D and B string played together. And then you have to play the note on the 2nd fret of the G string. Like that. So the whole thing sounds like this. And to end you have this, which is you just have to play the open D string and the note on the 2nd fret of the G string back and forth like this. So the whole thing slowly sounds like this. So the entire chorus still here sounds like this. And for the chorus we just have to play this whole section one more time. So we have this. And after that you play the verse again. And so on. So in the song you have the verse and then you have the chorus. After that you have the 2nd verse and the 2nd chorus, which is exactly the same as the 1st verse and the 1st chorus. After that you have the bridge, which sounds like this. So you start with this chord. So if you take this as your 1st fret, you have to play the 7th fret of the D string, the 5th fret of the G string and the 7th fret of the B string. So you play this with the open A string, so you have this. And on top you have this melody. So again you're playing the 7th fret of the B string and the 8th fret of the B string, so you just go back and forth. And after that you have the 5th fret of the high E string. and then you play the 8th fret of the B string. Like that. So if you play the melody with the chord, it sounds like this. And after that you have this. So here you're playing the 7th fret of the D string, the G string and the B string. So you bar those 3 notes together like this. And after that you have this. So you're going back and forth between the D and G strings. So with the chord it sounds like this. And then you have this melody, which is the 8th fret of the B string, the 10th fret of the B string, and then back to the 8th fret. So you have this. And after that you have this. So you play the 2nd fret of the high E string and you have the low E string, the G string and the B string open. So you play that with a roll like this. And after that you play the 3rd fret and then the 5th fret and then you slide to the 7th fret. So you have this. And after that you have this chord. So you play the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G and B strings together. Like that. And after that you have this chord, which is the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G string and the 3rd fret of the B string. And right after that you have this. So you just move this note down to the 2nd fret, so you get this. So that whole part sounds like this. And after that you have this. So you start by playing this note on the 8th fret of the B string, and then you play this chord, which is the open A string, the 7th fret of the D string, the 5th fret of the G string, and then the 7th fret of the B string again. So like that. And then you just go back and forth between these 2 notes. Like that. So with the chord it sounds like this. And after that you play the 5th fret of the high E string and then hammer on onto the 7th fret of the high E string. So the whole thing becomes this. And the next part sounds like this. So again you play this chord by barring the 7th fret of the D, G and B strings together. And after that with the bar you play the note on the high E string 7th fret. So you have this. And after that you have this melody, which is basically the 10th fret, the 8th fret, the 7th fret and then again the 8th fret of the B string. So again the whole thing sounds like this. And after that we have this. So now you have this chord where you're playing the 2nd fret of the high E string and you have the low E string, the G string and the B string open. So you have this. And then you play the 3rd fret. And then you slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of the high E string with your index finger. So you have this. And right after the slide you have this. So right after you've reached this note with the slide, you have to play this note on the 8th fret of the G string with your middle finger like this. So you get this. And then you have to play the 8th fret of the B string. And then you have this melody. So there you play the 7th fret of the G string and the 7th fret of the B string. You bar that like this with your index finger and you play both of them together. And then you play the note on the 8th fret. And then you play the 10th fret of the high E string and hammer on onto the 12th fret of the high E string. And right after that you play this note, which is the 6th fret of the G string. So the whole thing again slowly from the slide sounds like this. And right after that you have this part which you played before. So here again you're playing the 3rd fret of the high E string first, and then you're playing the 2nd fret of the high E string, and then the open high E string, and then you have the 3rd fret of the B string, and then you have this, which is the open B string, and then the 2nd fret of the G string. And then you hammer on onto the 2nd fret of the G string, and then you have this, which is the open D string and the open B string, and then the 2nd fret of the G string. So you play the open D string and the open B string together, and then you end with this note. So to end, I'll play the entire bridge once more. So it sounds like this. And that's the whole song. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, then subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have any questions or requests for song tutorials, then do let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.